and Babatunde Salman, and also on behalf of all the staff of SBS 96.9 FM, we want to wish you a happy new month. My name is Rachel Arokoyo. We'll bring to you the headlines, the body of the stories. We analyze trending issues. And of course, you have the chance to let your voice be heard by calling or dialing the studio line 07031501256. Getting it started on the punch this morning, Tinubu not showing empathy for Nigerians' hardship at Afenifere. Socio-political organization Afenifere has chided President Bola Tinubu's administration over the absence of official empathy concerning the agony and distressing state of the nation, which Nigerians are presently grappling with, rising from a meeting held at the residence of its leader, Pa Ayo Adebanjo, at Isanyagbo, Ogun State. The group lamented that federal government sounded distant from the pervasive hardship, unflagging insecurity and incapacitating hunger that Nigerians grappled with. According to the group, this lack of empathy was evidenced by policies aimed at compounding the woes of the people, citing the recent fuel price hike as the latest in such a posture. Contained in a communique by the Afenifere Deputy Leader Oba Oladipo Olaito and Deputy Secretary General Alade Rotimi John, made available to the Punch on Thursday, the group said it observed that there was the absence of a coherent program of action by the Tinubu government to alleviate the hardship faced by Nigerians. Tinubu not showing empathy for Nigerians' hardship, Afenifere claims on the Punch newspaper this morning. Away from the Punch and on to the Vanguard, there is hunger in the land. Governors admit back Tinubu. Governors under the aegis of the Nigeria Governors Forum, NGF, have admitted the fact that there is hunger in the country, rising from a meeting in Abuja that lasted from Wednesday night to the early hours of yesterday. The governors said they were aware Nigerians were hungry, but expressed appreciation of what they described as reforms of President Bola Tinubu. The governor's position came as the Group Chief Executive Officer of Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, Mele Kolokiari, who briefed them at the meeting, confirmed that there was now total fuel subsidy removal in the country. He also informed the state chief executives of the company's challenges and planned to alleviate the people's suffering caused by the frequent increase in petrol pump price. It will be recalled that price of petrol has been increased thrice within a space of 60 days, inflicting more pain on the people. Relief should come for the people, Uzodinma says. Speaking with journalists at the end of the meeting, Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State disclosed that this is the prayer of the governors that as soon as possible, relief should come the way of the people. Uzodinma said, and I quote, "We deliberated on issues affecting the country. The forum received a presentation from the African Medical Center of Excellence funded by African Bank, a world-class hospital and specialized techniques and modern equipment to be managed by first-class medical experts in special areas of treatment on oncology, cardiovascular issues, and other comprehensive general medical research. There's hunger in the land, governors admit, back Tinubu on the Vanguard." financial system. Edun said such individuals have a 9-month grace period to comply with the directive without attracting legal liability or financial penalties. The finance minister disclosed this while briefing journalists at the end of the National Economic Council, NEC, presided over by Vice President Senator Kashim Shettima Vanguard. On the nation, Edun says 25 million Nigerians get 25,000 naira conditional cash transfers. The social investment program has expanded its reach to 25 million vulnerable Nigerians from 5 million households. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, says yesterday the program involves direct cash transfers to individuals on the social register, verified through biometric identification and paid through bank account or mobile wallet. According to Edun, who spoke with reporters at the State House, Abuja, after the 145th meeting of the National Economic Council, the first and second payment have already been made to beneficiaries. To address food affordability, he said the government has introduced a program allowing millers to import duty-free and levy-free brown rice to bridge the 2.5 million metric tons supply gap. Edun says 25 million Nigerians get 25,000 naira conditional cash transfers on the nation. On the Vanguard, withheld salaries, varsities, non-academic staff strike continues despite federal government's plea. Striking members of the Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions, NASU, and the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, yesterday turned down persuasion from the federal government to call off the strike. The workers insisted that until they got an alert on the withheld salaries, the industrial action would continue. Recall that the Joint Action Committee, JAC, of the two non-teaching staff unions had embarked on an indefinite strike on Monday on the expiration of the ultimatum that gave the government on the withheld salaries. President Bola Tinubu had recently approved that 50% of the 4-month withheld salaries be paid, but several months after the approval was made, nothing has happened. Worried by the effect of the ongoing strike, the federal government convened a meeting with the aggrieved university workers yesterday with a view to persuading them to suspend the strike. Speaking to Vanguard on the outcome of the meeting, the president of SANU, COMRD Mohammed Ibrahim, said the conversation was very cordial, very fruitful, very frank. So, like I said, it was chaired by the outgoing Minister of State for Education at the instance of the Minister of Education, who joined the meeting virtually. Asked them when the government promised to make the payment, he said, before the end of the month. Yesterday is 31st, so we are still on 31st, and we told them that until then, the mandate we have from our people is that we can only suspend the strike when the money is paid. As regards withheld salaries, varsities non-academic staff strike continues despite federal government's plea. And on the Daily Post, health workers suspend 7-day warning strike. Health workers under the aegis of the Joint Health Sector Union and the Assembly of Healthcare Professionals Association have suspended their 7-day warning strike effective from midnight October 31st in the spirit of the Memorandum of Understanding MOU and in general public interest. The national chairman of the group, Mr. Kabiru, said this in a communique jointly signed by Mr. Martin Egbanubi, National Secretary of the Union, on Thursday in Abuja. Daily Post recalled that the union had embarked on a 7-day warning strike on October 25th to press home its demand from the federal government. He said that the decision to suspend the warning strike was taken at an emergency meeting of the expanded National Executive Council, NEC, of the union. Health workers suspend 7-day warning strike on the Daily Post. Punching from the Punch as regards tax review, presidency mount defense as 36 governors reject proposal. The 36 state governors of the Federation have unilaterally demanded the immediate withdrawal of the National Tax Reforms Bill, delivering a significant strategic blow to the comprehensive effort undertaken by the Taiwo Oyedele-led Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms Committee. The governors, speaking during the National Economic Council, Nigeria's highest economic advisory body, meeting on Thursday, asked President Bola Tinubu to withdraw the reforms bill from the National Assembly for more comprehensive consultations. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde announced this as part of resolutions reached at the Council's 144th meeting, chaired by Vice President Kashim Shettima at the State House, Abuja. Makinde told journalists that Council members agreed that it was necessary to allow for consensus building and understanding of the bills among Nigerians. On the Punch this morning, as regards tax reform, presidency mounts defense as 36 governors reject proposal. You're still tuned to SBS 96.9 FM, and the program is the newspaper review and analysis with Rachel Arokoyo. We'll be right back after this short commercial break for the analysis. Please stay tuned. I've read some of the stories to you. Now it is time for us to analyze these issues with my guest in the studio. Remember, I am Rachel Arokoyo, and my guest in the studio is COMRD Olanrewaju Ishowo, who is a public affairs analyst. Good morning to you, COMRD.
Good morning, Rachel. But that admission alone, could that solve the problem on ground? And what are the solutions they proffered during that meeting? May I ask them that what exactly are they doing in their respective states that will serve as a solution to the problem on ground? Or mere admission that there is hunger, could that solve the problem at all? No. I'm pushing the whole thing before the Mr. President by saying that Mr. President should look on how to provide solution to this matter, despite the fact that all of them admitted that or supported on the policy or policies of Mr. President that actually landed us into the situation where we find ourselves today. Like I've said, or like I've suggested somewhere yesterday in one of the sisters radio stations, that the solution on ground. But they forgot at the same time that the local one we are boasting around with belongs to individuals under the aegis of Dangote Group. And to my surprise again, they made reference of resuscitating that of Port Harcourt, Warri and Kaduna beyond the country. But when you look at the situation, we remove the subsidy, one, and we don't have our local refineries. I, as one of those that advocated for the removal of subsidy, we base it on the condition of making our refineries functional first before you can get it removed. Now that it has been operating and operating Nigeria become the past in short time. I'm saying this with full of energy that meeting is nothing but a mere jamboree, because what we were told is that the governors supported. They lent their voice that they are in support of the policies of Mr. President. But they admitted there is hunger. And none of them actually provide solution to the hunger in the land rather than, still charging Mr. President to look for the solution.
Okay, so now, in your own opinion, what strategy do you think President Bola Tinubu and, of course, all the state governors should adopt to, alleviate the hunger in the land?
Let me tell you, the first one is the one I mentioned.
Okay.
We must ensure that our local consumption, if we are consuming 50 million liters of PMS per day, that 50 million liters must be subsidized currently.
Okay.
Whatever we are sending out, let the question, the effect of hunger in the land, how many of them actually stood up? During the meeting, I said that at my own level, this is how far I've gone in mitigating the crisis in the land. Like by the federation units, none of them, because only few of them actually embarked on farm mechanization in relate with each government, state government, on how to tackle the insecurity in their respective states. But everything still boiled down on centralization of our security network. We cannot get it right. If we continue pushing for centralization of our security architecture in the country, but rather we should come up with how to get it decentralized so that the security of lives and property will be at our fingertips. How many of them have come up with templates, apart from the prominent one we saw in the Southwest? And when you check around the reports of challenges facing the farmers, facing this, facing that, you discover that it's even reduced to a certain level in the Southwest, because they are able to come up with certain alternative to the centralization of our security apparatus. How many of them in their own state can come up and tell us that this is what we are using our security force for? Do they ever disclose it? Have we been told that this is how they are being utilizing the money? As a journalist, do you know how much we are getting in this state? Nobody will question it. Nobody will subject it to scrutiny. These are the areas we need to look into. Tell you the kind of farming system we are talking about. This is not this let me cultivate something for me and my family. There must be subsistence agricultural farming, I admit, but to tackle the food security in the land, it requires a rigorous farm mechanization, and that can be done with involvement of the government in reasons of it. By now, I expect the policy from the government that each state, including the government at the center, should have at least 50% of their budget for the agri. If we are having that, 15 from the center down, and masses are suffering greatly under policy. So they need to come up to ameliorate the pains on ground, not a mere admission. A mere admission alone cannot solve the problem. They need to come up with solutions on how to address what we are facing today.
Thank you so much. You're still listening to the newspaper review and analysis on SBS 96.9 FM. And my analyst in the studio is COMRD Olanrewaju Ishowo. Thank you so much, COMRD, for analyzing these issues, because now you were talking about means to ameliorate the poverty or the hardship in the land. Now, we have on the nation this morning that 25 million Nigerians get 25,000 naira conditional cash transfers. So the social investment program has expanded its reach to 25 million vulnerable Nigerians from 5 million households. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edu, said yesterday. So how will the federal government fund this initiative? Because you are actually advocating for them to cushion the effect of maybe hunger or hardship in the land, and they have preferred some solution, as it were, by the coordinating minister Wale Edu, saying that 25,000 naira will be given to over 25 million Nigerians. What is your take?
It's still futuristic.
Okay.
If the condition is that it will be given, not that it has been given. What I'm saying in essence is that this conditional cash transfer, he discovered that she has been sent packing. That means that how sensitive that office, the ministry is, and how certain individuals have been using the resources that are supposed to be channeled down to the downtrodden to ameliorate the pains on them and being diverted that already falling below the poverty line. 14 million people within a year. So if that suggested that those transfers were made long before now has no effect. I think it came from Bayelsa State. And in his office, they were discussing about submitting the lists. I think each one of them was given 1,000 slots to go back to his constituency in Bayelsa and garner 1,000 names. Nothing will happen
24 hours.
Within 24 hours. I don't know, maybe they have been told before.
Okay.
But they just said, please get it submitted. They gave them 24 hours notification to get it submitted. Maybe it was a week notification and they said they gather this name. So to them, maybe it's going to be something in the nearest future. But at that time, they said, we're giving 24 hours. That was exactly what I heard. And I said, in Bayelsa, somebody in Abuja, is it possible to go to Bayelsa? Imagine somebody from Borno down there, somebody from Sokoto down there, somebody from Kwara down there. How would they get that name? So if they submit that name, are you telling me that that name is based on the thorough verification as to, get those that are actually in need of this money? 25,000, what could that address? Are they selling vegetable? Or they are selling, I don't know the kind of business they want to use 25,000 naira for.
Even those who are selling vegetables, 25,000 naira is
imagine
not
what's going to be the interest. It shows that this kind of...
So then such money does not get to the desired people, those who really need it. If you want to give money to the downtrodden masses, for instance, in Lorry here, go to Oyoba market, go to Kankatu market, go to Pakata market, go to Main Road. You will see people who are hawking where that is not even up to 5,000. Such people, you give them 25,000, they'll be able to improve their business. Most of this money just getting into the hand of cronies or politicians and those who belong to a particular party, the particular state. And at the same time, it has become a means of investing money. We all knew what happened in the Monetary Affairs Ministry, where they want to go and give people money, and you need to spend another money to verify those that are to be given the money. People say they want to travel from Abuja to Lokoja, when we know that Lokoja does not have an airport. Why are we deceiving ourselves? Every government policy, no matter how good it is, the implementer, those that will implement, are always the problem. Look at the issue of palliative, when they brought rice. The 10 kg rice, at the end of the day, they reduce the 10 kg rice to 5 kg rice, and we begin to see the rises in people's houses. People who are influential, people who are even rich, people who can afford to buy all this bag of rice. So, you see, if government really want to assist the masses, there are better ways to do it, without all this necessary, all this transfer. Improve the health sector. improve the transportation sector, improve the housing sector, improve educational sector. Like for instance, somebody was saying sometimes that one particular state government want to increase tuition fee in their private schools. Is that what we need at this time of the day? Now, if you want to travel to Lagos now, you cannot afford the money, 10,000 naira. But if government invests in transportation, and you cannot afford to pay 10,000 naira at some military to Lagos, you can go to where government vehicles are. These are the things we need, rather than one-sided palliative that will not benefit you and me. So you see, why we are still hopeful in the country, the government also plays what they need. Our representatives, they don't really have our love at their heart. If they do, they'll be doing things. Look at one particular honorable in London here, Honorable Sagaya, or what is his name? That honorable is doing very well. And when he rejected the SUV vehicle in the House of National Assembly with one other honorable, what did they do to them? Now the vehicle is gone. They will have to collect that vehicle there and sold the vehicle and distribute money to their constituents. So you see, we need people who are really ready to serve this country. Thank you. God bless us.
Thank you so much, Alhaji Tayolo. He has said a lot this morning concerning the cash transfer and a lot more. So my question again is, how would this get to the grassroots, to the people who really need this money? Talking about the local government, our representatives at the local government level should be able to, provide names of those who are really in need of the money, comrade.
They don't even involve them at all.
The local government?
Yes, and that is why there's no way how we want to centralize whatever, ways government think can use to address the challenges facing us as a country. We need to work round the clock and involve relevant stakeholders. I must tell you that this constitutional cash transfer, in some advanced clime, they have adopted it.
Okay.
Because if I could remember, sometimes during the COVID-19, one of Kwara-born but US-based writer, Professor Farouk Perugi, was talking about how the money was utilized to the extent that the remaining money was shared among the citizenry. Either you are there or you are not there, they have your data. It gets it to you that this is the money. What is transparency? But in our climb here, none of them could even come out to defend how the money was expended. We are talking about the trader money that the former vice president, championed. At the time there was question on how it was expended, he was unable to come up with a comprehensive report about that. It means that it is nothing but a mere jamboree. This 25, I bet you, Rachel, is going to end up like those we have done before. At the end of the day,
let's keep our fingers crossed that it is not like the ones that they have done before. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where you are calling from?
Yes, I'm Rashid.
You're welcome, Abdul Rashid.
Yes, I greet Mr. Olanrewaju Ishowo. May God continue to be with him. But I want to quickly answer his question. When he said the governor should have provided solution to Mr. President, I will answer that by giving this Yoruba proverb that says, "Any machi wa you no logun, lo machi lo." When Mr. President decided to remove subsidy, he did consult the governors. And as far as I'm concerned, Mr. President is just playing into the hands of the governors. Now you are allocating so much allocation to them without highlighting how this money. And Buhari left. They talk about this power sector reform, whereby states are being empowered to generate, transmit, and distribute power on their own. Apart from Abia State, now who is doing well in that regard? Tell me which other state is doing that. So if Mr. President truly loves the citizens, loves the masses, what he should do is to make sure that those refineries are fixed. Before former President Buhari left, they borrowed $1.5 billion, which they spent on Port Harcourt refinery. If it is not working, who are those that took away the money? What has been done to them? And for somebody like Mele Kyari that is coming out to say a subsidy is now fully gone, I think Mele Kyari should be ashamed of himself. Because you have been NNPC GMD for how many years? What has happened? They are just busy paying salaries to those working with NNPC without any output. Instead of being the GMD of NNPC, he has turned to GMD of import and export, whereby we export crude oil and import refined petroleum products. And concerning the issue of 25,000 naira, whatever direct conditional direct transfer this they are talking about, the governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, advised Mr. President some days ago that all these Lagos boys he brought are not helping him. Wale Edo, Ononuga, Alakeo, go and look at all of them. What is their performance? What have they been doing? All the policies, Wale Edo that they said is coordinating economy. Which economy is he coordinating? This economy that looks so discoordinated. They said they are coordinating it. Mr. President should just be careful and try to protect his own name, because all these boys, when the ships are down, they go their separate ways. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abdul Rashid. Now, he said something. He said if the president truly loved Nigerians, he should make sure that all the 4 refineries are fixed and functional. You made mention of it while we were talking about the first story that I read. He said a lot of money has been spent on the Port Harcourt refinery, and we are yet to see the usefulness of that refinery. What is your take on this, comrade?
You know, like I've said earlier, we just need to, our leaders only need to be sincere. When Obasanjo told us, at the time Buhari borrowed that $1.5 billion to address the challenges of our refineries, when he fixed date that by certain December, I think 2022, Obasanjo said it point blank that we should forget about the coming up of Port Harcourt refinery. At that time, Nigerians shouted, why Obasanjo is doing this? Why Obasanjo is doing that? Between the then president and today's president and Obasanjo, who is right? It means that if Obasanjo outside the government understands that this refinery with this approach cannot be fixed, then we need to come up with the template, get his idea if possible. Of course, Obasanjo seems to be a personality with due respect that believes that he's always right. But to me, he has in-depth knowledge in area of governance than some of the leaders or our leaders who are parading today. If that should be the case, there's nothing bad to seek for his advice. You know, he has been talking about economy. He has been talking about appointing serious persons in area of economic that even the international community will truly see that, no, Nigeria means well. Nigeria is ready to address the issue. But unfortunately, in fact, I think I listened to one engagement between Cardoso, Wale Edun, and the foreign investors when they are discussing about the currency. And the Arise News reporter exposed what the Igbo man said. He said that the coordinating minister seems not to get the logic. He's now directing the situation to Cardoso. So imagine somebody coordinating the affairs economic-wise, and that person has limitation to tackle the challenge on ground. So that shows that if it involves holistic review, cabinet reshuffle, Mr. President should do this. What he did last week is just a window dressing, a surface dressing reshuffle. You sent 5 home, and people are arguing.
And brought back
Are you
7.
telling us that even those files are were the least? Were they the least in terms of performance? No. So we need to be away from the issue of ethnocentric prestige. I'm a Yoruba man, my skin here must be a Yoruba man. I'm a Igbo man, my sister person here must be a Igbo man. I'm a Ijaw man, so person must be an Ijaw man. Nigeria, we must promote nationhood. And we must bring competent people around to lead us. Until we have people that are ahead of us to lead us, that is how they can drive us to the next phase. But if those are driving the affairs of the country and average people in the society, it means that they can't do anything spectacular in that area.
All right, thank you so much, Comrade Olanrewaju Ishowo. And to everyone who called, Alhaji Tayo Lowo, Mr. Abdurrashid from Alagbado, thank you so much for always listening and tuning in to SBS 96.9 FM. And to our guest in the studio, thank you so much, Comrade Olanrewaju.
It is my pleasure, Richard.
All right, until next week, Monday, when I come your way again for the newspaper review and analysis, please stay safe. And remember that security is everyone's business. Please be your brother and your sister's keeper. I am Rachel Damilola Arokoyo. Good morning to you.